Uh, so a lot of people are confused by how I start my podcast. I had one guy email going, I, I think I came in the middle of something and I rewound and I didn't know because I just start recording when we start talking. I'm on call today with an old friend of mine, Karl Steadman. Karl, say hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. What's that weird accent? What is that? Are you an actor?
Yeah, I'm posh and English and Scottish, and I don't know what I am. I'm ish.
I dig it, man. Well, it's so good to see you. It's been a while.
You too, man.
And dude, you know I stalk your posts, and I just you moved out into the most rural, beautiful countryside. How long ago was it? 2 years or a year?
That's 3 years now, man.
3
years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's scary how fast time is going by. But if you guys don't know Karl Steadman, I met him years ago through CrossFit. We became friends. He and his wife took our PDR course that I know had a big impact on how you coach and how you live.
Yep.
You know, some of the
Correct.
stuff you took away from there, and which is an amazing observation for people. But that's not what this call is about. I'm not here to tell people that, you know, when you really understand confrontation management from this perspective of I now know that I will protect myself, my family, and how you can apply that to business and life. I mean, that's the message. But these calls here, we'll get you on another full No Fear podcast later on down the road. What I'm doing is actually contacting people from different and you guys can't see this. I'll post this to Vimeo, but people on our Libsyn feed and Spotify and iTunes will just hear the audio. So you can't see Karl like leaning into the camera going, what's Tony about to say? Because I have no idea. Because I didn't
worry.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in the fear loop. Oh my God, he's using his system right now. I'm in the fear loop. All the guests that I have on here, I sent them the most like 2 sentences. Hey, I want you on my podcast. Super short, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Just talk about what's going on now. And so nobody got, you know, there's no, these are the questions I'm going to ask. These are the themes and so on and so forth. So it's kind of interesting. And how I pick people, and I kind of do this talk on every podcast, so it's a little boring for me, but I want you to know is because I want you to know why I asked you. I'm picking different people from different communities who have different roles and goals in life, and talking about how they are. Let me just close my computer here because it's beeping every time shit comes in. They're like your message, the way you raise your kids, the way you walk with the dog, the way you take pictures of sunsets and snowstorms and build shit. There's a lot we can all learn from that. So I've had people on here who are like their companies are 10 times bigger than mine. But I want to know how they're, you know, handling stuff and what they're thinking about. So it's almost like I got 10 questions. We're going to whip through them. Could be 20 minutes, could be 30, 40 minutes. But that's the goal of it, is just to recognize that your feed is somebody I always check, and you don't write long, prolific, rambly things like I do. But underneath the simplicity of it is still a message that we can all take something from. So you're on the list, man.
Oh, cool, man. That's
all right.
Scary.
Right. The first and most obvious question is, how are you doing? In the context of what's going on, how are you doing?
Yeah, we're good. You know, it's getting used to a new normal and trying to stay as close to the old normal as possible, especially for the kids. But other than that, it's all good, man. You know, it's the stores have started to settle down and there's not so much crazy buying and things going on. And we're self-isolated by design anyway, so we very rarely see people up here. So we kind of, other than not having to take the kids to school on a daily basis, life is pretty much as normal, as much as it can be, without any work.
Right. Yeah, that sucks. how is the family doing with everything? I mean, the kids are, how old are your kids again?
We got a 7-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl.
Right. So she's probably like going, what's going on? The 7-year-old's like, wow, this is cool. Like,
He doesn't have to get dressed, so he's pretty cool. He can run around naked and he's good to go.
Same with you. You know, you don't.
Yeah, exactly right. You can't see what I'm wearing underneath the table.
Right. I mean, you put a shirt on for this, but I have no idea if you're wearing it. And nor do you know if I'm wearing any pants. So
exactly right. Mystery.
Right. But how's the family doing?
Yeah, we're good. Staying busy. I think that's the main aim. We've stayed, like I said, to the closest routine that we did before. We're still getting up at the same time. We're still doing the normal stuff in the mornings of going and training, staying to those normal routines.
Nice.
When the kids are on like half term now, like the Easter break from school, so they don't have any schoolwork for the next 2 weeks. But when they're back at school, then they'll spend that time in the morning. We pretty much thrash them with all their schoolwork up until midday, so then they can chill and do what they want.
Nice. My daughter, brought down some homework numerous times. She knows not to show me anything, or Jesse, because we just look at it and we're like, I don't even understand like what you're,
totally.
What are you learning? I don't even understand like what they're doing. I mean, are you?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
They do PE with dad and they do clever academia stuff with their mom. So good balance there, I guess.
PE with dad and the clever stuff with, okay. So next question is, you alluded to this, and I don't know if you had, outside of being, one of the main European trainers for CrossFit and running around there, I don't know if you'd ever expanded as an entrepreneur and did some online stuff or had some other things. So how has this affected your business, and what have you done to adapt, or are you just kind of like in a holding pattern?
Yeah, I mean, literally just released today was the level 1 for CrossFit has been released to go online for people that need it to keep their revalidations on board, or for their continuing education units for the level 3, level 4. That's only literally got starting next week. So that'll be a webinar kind of context. And I still haven't got my head around how that's going to work yet either. So, but up until then, that's the only offering really that we had for work. And so I think a lot of it's been pushed to that now. Same as like most gyms have started working on the Zoom conference calls for classes and coaching and things. I think there's a similar format being released for the seminar work.
Yeah. And those will be live, so you can.
I believe so. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. I mean, you got to adapt. I mean, if this didn't change, this is now how we live, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. Let's, so hopefully it'll change fast. Okay. Next question. Best thing about the lockdown. Best thing about the lockdown. Is there a best thing?
Yeah, totally. More time with the family, and that's the worst thing too. You got good and bad, but no, I think it's the being able to actually get into a routine and do the things that we've been putting off for so long has been amazing. Like, we're just squaring away all the jobs that we were like, I'll get to it, and you never do.
Right.
We actually are now, like actually accomplishing a bit more, getting a good routine with the kids. We can look after their nutrition rather than worrying about what they're doing at school, all the wacky parent concerns and stuff, I guess. But no, it's not been bad so far. I mean, hey, we've only been on lockdown for a couple of weeks, so it could get worse, but so far it's been pretty damn cool.
Yeah, excellent. And the worst thing about the lockdown, you joked about it, but there's more to it than that. There's what are the things that you just go, man, fuck, this sucks? Because
for me, not being able to help, the main reason why I loved working for CrossFit and still do is genuinely feeling like you're making a difference and helping people. And so I was immediately, as soon as I didn't have that anymore, I'm like, damn, I need that in my life. So I immediately volunteered for like NHS volunteer work and as much as I can do on that side. And so waiting to get mobilized there, because looking forward to helping people. That's the main reason for doing the job,
Right.
So I miss that a lot. I miss that being able to help more often than I used to.
Right. That's great. Great answer. So much misinformation out there. so much
Yeah.
disinformation out there, so much politics out there. Where are you getting your information, and how do you verify it?
Oh, so honestly, I try to avoid most news outlets. We have there's a daily briefing that occurs from the bosses, from Parliament around 5 p.m. every evening, where they'll have someone give the latest stats and the latest things moving forwards and all that kind of good stuff. So that used to be Boris Johnson before he got took ill, and then it kind of comes down to, pardon?
You know how he's doing?
Yeah, he's out of intensive care as of today, so I think he's doing okay, but he's in the best care.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have like an official, almost briefing that happens every day.
Same.
And so, yeah, right. So I think most countries do the same. So I listen to that, and then I've turned, like my any of the other news outlets, I just turned them off my phone. Like just not really interested, because it's generally not saying anything good. So
right. Good point. Slightly different question than what's the worst thing.
Go ahead.
This is more personal and philosophical based on you, but what bothers you the most about what's going on?
I think the people that don't seem to be respecting the advice. Even though we live remotely, we've probably seen more people walking past our house, because we kind of have access into a forest area that takes you up to one of the highest areas in it. And we've seen more people that we've never seen before walking past the house, when we've been told to not take any non-essential journeys. That's frustrating when you feel like you're towing the line, and other people are just using it as an excuse for an extended holiday when people are sick. That winds me up a lot, makes me get a little frustrated.
So that's interesting, because we have trails near where I live, and I walk every day.
Yeah, same. Yep.
And so from that respect, I'm not respecting, but I can rationalize right now that, I had a couple of injuries a couple of years ago. I haven't lifted a barbell in 2 years.
Yeah.
I haven't even picked up like Olympic weight, an Olympic weight, let alone put a plate on it. And the only thing I can do is walk. And that's
totally.
That's essential to me, But if I lived in Scotland, I might go, I'm going to go for a long walk today. I'm going to walk by Carl's house, and Carl's there, going, look at that fucking asshole, not sheltering in place.
Yeah, true.
So, and I just put that out there. I throw that out there. I think the idea is when I'm walking, just because I'm a self-defense guy and security conscious, as I approach, because I'll see other people out there.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, do they look sick? As I'm 50 feet out. Do they look like a zombie? Do they look like they're sick? Are they coughing? Are they, and then it's I'm aware that it's supposed to be, hey, 6 feet. And then the idea is that whatever transmission particles gets dropped to the ground at 6 feet. So if somebody coughed or sneezed near you, it'd be like from a shooting perspective. If your round, only like a 50 caliber Barrett travels a mile, in theory, you could stand a mile and a foot away, go ahead, try and shoot me if you trust the physics. And the bullet would go, and it would just stop, just at your feet. And this is like a crazy visual. I don't know why it popped into my head, but I'm sharing it. I just wanted to dive into this a little bit, because I'm, if I go out to get some essentials, like, okay, I'm going to go to the store and get some stuff. Yeah. I'll call Jesse after, I go, like, you wouldn't know that there's a pandemic going on. People are like thinking about doing stuff like that. So there's that. I'm going, come on, guys. Because when I go out there, I'm out, I'm looking around. I'm aware that when I grab the shopping cart, I'm touching metal, and this shit is on metal. So I've got, wipes with me. I go, okay, they got Purell at the counter. I'm wiping my hands. I'm doing what I can and not being stupid. So, just having this conversation, like, if you still saw people walking by your house, are you thinking, dude, you need to be sheltering in space or in place, or go for a nice walk, get some air, don't cough on my land,
Yeah, pretty much. We remove ourselves from the situation, you know, like we're lucky in that we have because we're at the top of a valley, the only road that comes up to us, we've got a cool vantage point for at least 800 meters. So if we don't see him coming, then the dog lets us know because he's pretty good. And so we just, you know, if they're coming past, which it looks like they are, then everybody comes inside, they walk past and disappear up, and then we're back out again, you know, like, so it's
interesting.
It's not too much of a drama. We give them a wave from inside the house, and then we're like, all right, see ya.
Waving with all 5 fingers or just one?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. With a glove on.
Right. Cool. Good answer. Interesting little detour there. Without making this political, if I put you in charge right now of,
that'd be a mistake.
What would you do?
Damn, I don't know if anybody knows what to do. You'd listen to your medical experts, wouldn't you? You know, damn, that's I might be wearing a suit and tie and be in front of the microphone, but it would totally be based on, I'd be relying and leaning on a team, same as I always have, you know, like know what you know what you don't know.
Right.
So I'd totally be like, hey, you're the doctor who's an expert in immunology or virology or whatever the hell it is. And just, hey, what do I need to be telling people that's going to be the best thing to mean that we don't lose as many loved ones as we seem to be.
It's interesting. I've had on all the guests that I've asked, most have alluded to that. You know, you need to listen to the experts. I've had some really interesting responses as well, where it ties into the previous question of what bothers you the most, kind of like informs that next one. You know, the thing for me that I think bothers me the most is how you still get a sense of ego and politics in the information that you're getting, which makes
always,
which why that bothers me is because I really believe that the filter is not in our best interest. It's like, okay, you know, we can't rush this because we need to monetize this. So who are our sponsors in pharmaceutical, or who, you know, if there's a recession, who actually, you know, is in control, or if the president gets sick, or if the prime minister gets sick. And, you know, one of the things that I talked about, Karl, in a podcast where I was interviewed, is I said, this is our medical 9/11. After 9/11, nobody cared whether you were right or left or what political party. It was like, you know, it was like, clearly terrorism is bad. You know, how do we stop that? And then everyone came together. And I just wish we could feel that here. And I don't feel that. You've got, you know, doctors that look like they're contradicting each other. You got, in the States here, we got another doctor from the Democratic campaign saying, you know, this quarantine should be a year and a half long, you know, and like, if you did that, if this goes on much longer, I don't know if you ever seen The Purge, the movie The Purge.
Yeah.
Like the what'll happen when people run out of food and money and money to buy liquor, to get drunk, to calm their nerves, and can't buy drugs. Like, there's already, I've seen videos of people walking into like department stores like CVS, which is like a pharmacy chain, and just stealing shit, like right in front of security guards. Because I don't know if it's over in Europe yet, but the police have announced, you know, hey, we're not going to arrest you for these certain crimes. We're just too busy.
Yeah, they said similar, but they're fining people for not applying the rules that we have at the moment. So
yeah, it's okay if you go in and steal other people's property, but if we catch you shaming somebody because of free speech, or not sheltering in place, we'll fine you. We'll give you a ticket for that, but not for stealing shit. Like, it's fucked up. So
yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. But we're doing from what I'm seeing so far, you know, it is a pretty unified message, which is like, I follow and know quite a few docs as well who are on the front line and down in London where it seems to be worse. And they're saying, you know, they're all working hard, but the doctors and nurses are all in it together. The best thing you can do is stay at home, flatten that curve.
Right.
You know, so it tends to be a super unified message. And, you know, even tonight, the good thing about, you know, a reason why I'm proud to be from this little island as well is we're used to getting fucked on over the years, and we're pretty good at coming together when it happens. So, you know, like whilst there's a lot of crap stories going on, it's far outweighed by what I guess you could call the silent majority. You know, the silent majority of people are just doing as they're told and cracking on and trying not to be an arsehole. Right. And the very vocal minority are the ones that seem to get all of the news, the this, that, and the other. But everybody else does the same thing. Like, we all look at the news, see some idiot who's done something idiotic and go, what a fucking idiot. Right. And everybody else goes, uh-huh. And they ignore it and crack on with their lives. You know, it seems to be a bit more unifying.
You raise a great point, because literally the media is out of control.
Yeah.
It's just out of control. And so if you do get a call and you're told to be put in charge, I know you're going to talk to, you know, the CDC and other experts, but I also need you, if you're in charge, Karl, please do something about the media. They need to be turned off. Like you did on your phone. Like literally think how different this would be if there was no mainstream media. Yeah,
that'd be pretty crazy. Then you get into that whole freedom of speech argument, though, huh?
Well, but it's not. It. You know, and we could joust this a little bit right now. Yeah. If you're saying things to manipulate people and create fear, that's not freedom of speech. Freedom of speech, in my opinion, would be, I believe in this. I want to say this. I don't believe that, you know, when somebody's in the editing room and cutting out like 70% of a statement that a politician makes to make it sound like they said something else, so that becomes clickbait and everybody shares it around the world to influence an election and create more fear and sell shit. I don't look at that as free speech, freedom of speech. That'd be like also saying, if I want to be a serial killer or a thief, I should be able to do that because, you know, this is what I want to do. And I want to get the best version. I want to be the best version. It's bullshit, right? It's, but it would be super interesting. And I very often remember, I'm old enough to remember when there wasn't social media.
Oh yeah, me too, buddy.
And that if you wanted to manipulate somebody, it had to be face to face. And if you wanted to manipulate people, you actually had to write a letter and send out several letters and you to buy stamps and lick them on and go. Like, nobody would do that. It's like, that's too hard.
Yeah.
Now, if you're fucking insane, you know, for $9, you can get a website and fucking post some shit and look like an expert. Interesting.
That's true. It's true. Sounds like politics.
Yeah, mostly. What's been the most challenging thing through this? And I ask this question and people are like, look at me sometimes because like, hey, didn't we talk about that? But when you're interviewing somebody and you're very, very down to earth, and your heart and your mission are aligned, but you're still like on you're still on a podcast, right? You're still and what I remind people with respect to responding to this question, this is like the question, you had a busy day, you're looking at stuff, you're looking at the news, you're looking at the bank account, you're looking at, the wife is reading the story to the kids, and you're out walking the dog and you sit down. It's like, what are you saying to your dog? You're sitting there going, what's your dog's name?
Logan.
Cool name. Logan, this is fucked. what has been the most challenging thing for you? What do you tell Logan?
Yeah. It's like, as the leader of the household, or, self-appointed, or however you view it, just how am I going to provide for my family moving forward from this? I know full well that I'm not above any job role, whatever it may be. hey, I'll sweep the streets and clean people's bins out as long as it puts food on the family's table. So I don't have that kind of that weirdness about it. But it's also about, well, damn, I'm not even allowed out of my house. So
Right.
I can't even go and do the, you know, I used to joke about this before this. It was like, hey, if all this work goes away with CrossFit, I have a very unique skill set, which means that I wouldn't be able to do anything else really other than
Right.
what I'm currently doing. So that means, I don't know, maybe I'd go and stack shelves at Tesco or something like that. Now that's an essential task, and you'd be lucky to get that job, you know, like that's
Right. Wait list.
so
Yeah.
yeah. So I wouldn't even be able to go and do that. And that was the joke. And that wasn't to be demeaning about that job. It was just like, hey, I would need a limited skill set to go do that. So I could. And yeah, I can't even do that now. So a lot of it is figuring out, well, what do we do? Is this the world now? Like you said, are we conversing here? So a lot of it is just not really much answers and just asking a lot of questions, really throwing it out into the world and trying to marinate on it a while and trying to come up with something that might work, you know, who knows?
Great.
That's my biggest challenge. I have no idea.
It's a great, no, but you know, I mean, the most important thing that comes out of there is that you'll do anything.
Yep.
And so let me share this with you. You'll do anything, but you assign that to sweeping or stacking, but the sentence is too long. As your friend,
Mm-hmm.
and I would do this in my seminars, I would ask people, given a choiceless choice in a confrontation, and you're with this type of predator, will you defend yourself?
Yeah.
And then I go, someone put up their hand. And the story I always tell is this one woman who said, we were talking about a confrontation versus Albert DeSalvo, and you remember my Be Your Own Bodyguard story.
Yep. Yes, sir.
And
Powerful.
and she said, if he's going to kill me, then I have no choice. I would try to defend myself. And I wrote that on a whiteboard. And I said, this is a great sentence. If he was going to kill me and I had no choice, I would try to defend myself. I said, that's good. Let's start there. But now what I want you to do is I want you, if everyone listening to this can visualize this, I want you to cross out all the inessential words in this sentence. If he was trying to kill me, I guess I have no choice. I will try to defend myself. And she crossed out a couple of them, and then I crossed out the rest. And the only words that were left were the words, I will defend myself.
Yep.
Everything else was superfluous. So I want to flip that back on you and remind you of that moment in the course that because you did a number of courses,
Yep.
is I will do anything I can to put food on my family's plate, even if it means sweeping, even if it means stacking at Tesco. All of that shit gets fucking crossed off. All the sentence is, I will do anything I can to provide for my family.
Yep.
And when you leave it at that, you're giving your brain permission to figure it out.
Yeah, certainly. And I will.
Which I know
we all will. Yeah.
The brain is an amazing thing, because if you add an extra word that's inessential and it's not operative, it can hijack your focus a little bit. Right? So,
yeah, it's true. Drag you off on the wrong line.
So listen, you accidentally coach someone to the negative. Hey man, I want to see your snatch. No, this is not a porno. Let's just right. And then you go, hey, remember last time you did this and that threw your back out. So make sure you set up properly, right? Then you guys can't see Karl. He knows better. You don't motivate through a negative, but there are trainers who might accidentally say that. More importantly, the big light bulb moment for anyone listening carefully is we say that shit to ourselves. We whisper it internally. I've had so many injuries from all my years of fighting that when I would lift, I would always go, every time I try to do like butterfly pull-ups and stuff like that, I always jack up my right shoulder because I'm internally rotated. I got to warm up. And I would always and I'm Mr. fucking fear management. I would say, don't go too hard because you don't want to fuck up your shoulder. And it would be like me going, Karl, remember there's a sniper up there. So fucking stay low when you approach this. But if you don't rewire that and go, okay, I've got to get to the sniper before he sees me, and turn it into some positive directive, as opposed to climbing up going, I hope the sniper doesn't see me because he'll shoot me in the head. Right? One is now carrying the load of fear versus the mindset of strategy. And
action.
You don't want to, and that's our whole fear loop theory, or fear loop psychology is that there is a way to fear. And if you're trying to also maneuver and strategically make decisions while you're worrying about shit, it clouds your focus. It clouds your judgment.
Yeah. Right on.
Anyways. Okay. Sorry for hijacking there. I got excited when you said
all good.
I wanted to fucking metaphorically whiteboard that sentence and go, no, you will do whatever you can. It doesn't need to have a job assigned to it. You know, you'll figure it out. And I know you will, because I know what type of work ethic you have. And I know how much you love your family. Final message for all of the thousands of people around the world that are now listening to Karl Steadman. What's your message for everybody?
Whiskey is the solution.
Whiskey. Any particular brand?
As long as it's a single malt and it's spelled WHISKY, not EY, then that's a real whiskey.
Nice.
And you'll be good to go. But other than that, we'll get through this together. We always will. Yeah,
I dig it, man. I dig it. I want to thank you for sharing a half hour of insights and thoughts, and I look forward to. I really, one of the things for me is this idea when you can't shake someone's hand or give them a hug or see them, you go, fucking miss that more. And I'm looking forward to, like you said, piggybacking on, we will get through this. We always do. There have been way worse, Black Plague, Spanish flu, World War I, World War II. We get through it. The human race adapts. There's no dinosaurs on this call, right? There's like the T-Rex isn't here, and we get through it. We adapt. Oh. But what I want to share is, like, I hope that the things we realized about community, about tribe, about family, about we were too much on. Unfortunately, we are all probably on our phones more now as a result. Many people are, because they're looking for good news, but they're eating bad news. It's almost like nutrition, So I hope that what we've learned and the adjustments we've made in routines where we celebrate that, that was cool, that we continue that, right?
Yeah,
that becomes our routines.
Yep. New normal.
Yes, sir. Say hi to the family for me.
Will do. Likewise, brother.
Okay, be safe.
You too.